Yes, yes, you are heard, if not seen. Your opinion and your viewpoint, your perspectives are valued by us. Speaking of valued viewpoints and where we are, it is officially our hard start. But are there any questions, suggestions, hypotheses, or corners we need to round off?
I think I'm ready to get started.
All right, well, we've got one voice.
Okay. Not a question, more of a statement.
Mm-hmm.
And it's directed at a certain somebody. How were you that dense last week? That you didn't realize that's what I was talking about. That's what she was talking about, because that was in character, by the way.
Ooh.
Yeah. I guess maybe I should have pulled them to the side, but I thought I did. Yeah. So now we have that problem.
Okay. Clearly not part of my pay grade. I will slide right on past that. Because we know that chaos is a ladder, and there's an opportunity in every moment of potential or actual failure for the betterment of the world around us. Overall, my week has been my week, and as always, I look forward to game night and Wednesday and our base foundational chronicle for the world in which our characters inhabit. This really does mean a lot to me, and I want to thank you all for spending this time with me for all of these mini seasons, all of the turbulence, ups, downs, sideways, and all the heartbreak that has come along. It's been rather cathartic in some moments, and in some moments it has had me all but cheering in my seats. So, again, a very, very meaningful and valued thank you for this time. It's meant quite a lot. But now that we have our statements, business, our awareness as to how fragile the characters' lives and their emotional stability and security is, I'd like to thank you all and let you know that this is officially Soup City Sins, Season 10, Season Finale, Episode 6, Joy. When we last left our coterie, when we last left the heroes of our heart, and unfortunately often our anti-heroes of our thoughts and emotions, the coterie had arrived back at the group haven, the Haras Varos shelter, there on Morse Avenue, right there at Ravenswood. In the travails of their evening, in discussing what has befallen them, in surviving the seemingly unending darkness of the processing plant they had inhabited, the main headquarters for this faction of the illegal blood trade. Not that there is an illegal one, there's a more respected one here in Chicago. The illegal blood trade is all of the many or the occasional few who realize there are fortunes to be made and be had by the absconding of the very life juice of every living thing they can get their hands on. This particular plant, having been boarded up by the Nash board-up companies, having been protected by several differing sorts of Tremere or Tremere-like wards, was one of the places where Lucio awoken into his everlasting night. There's no such thing as coincidence. though the human mind, and by extension the kindred minds, always seeks to form patterns. One of those many patterns formed was in the connection between the coterie, or at least a particular member of the coterie, and Vivi's past, her guiding light, the hero of her heart, her brother who disappeared, believed dead, her holy mission, her crusade to right that wrong, having its ties to Clyde, having his ties vicariously to the coterie as a whole, in the cover-up and cleanup of the mess that he made. That fact and that truth having suddenly been cast forth into public shared knowledge, with Dizzy holding the physical proof that Vivi's brother and potential sister-in-law are no longer in the land of the living. Another example of the occasionally callous nature of the beast and the many small concessions made to exist as wholly human as possible while mitigating the true ramifications of the cruel, cold-hearted, greedy nature of the beast. So we open with Dizzy holding the wallet, which has Vivi's brother's badge, his identification, as well as the ring box holding the signs of his true love and affection towards his fiancée.
She will just pocket that for now until they get to her haven, for wherever they're going, to a secluded place.
Taking the evidence, the proof, and secreting it away, there are several things that lay ahead for the coterie, several things that need to be accomplished to make the world as easy as possible, which is not saying much, because for the last few months, for the last few weeks, the coterie has been playing the game on hard level. They have been running from tip to tip, putting out as many fires as they can, dealing with as much overflow of baggage as they can. But the truth of the matter is, even with as much rest as they have tried to steal for themselves, it is more than enough to cause minds to spin, to turn askew, to tilt, to totter, to dance on the edge of what is actual sanity and what is believed in sanity. So with that information, and with the evidence of their connections and how everything seems to be aligning in one particular direction, the weight of loyalty, the weight of piety, and the association of one's friends, work buddies, compatriots, witnesses to the foibles of one's life, is an overarching theme in these last few weeks as they've put out the several fires and left the glaring blaze of the arson, the blackmail, the bodies. So Hestia, having deposited the lodestone of proof and fact of action that may befall the coterie into Dizzy's hands, placing that trust 100% into her grasp, what is it that Hestia would seek to accomplish in the last few hours before dawn?
After handing it over, she said, looks at Dizzy, look, I know you're going to have to tell her, and I'm not telling you not to tell her, but do realize she knows every way into this haven. She's a trained killer, and she can walk around in the daytime. She's not going to get mad at you because she's blood bonded to you. she could kill us and not think about it and not blink. That's all I'm gonna say to that. Now, before you leave or go out, I would like a little bit of your blood, please, so I can mix it with the ash of the bonfire upstairs, so I can rebuild the ward so that you can walk in and out of them without causing a problem. I'm gonna have to get Lucio's too. And Melinda's. I don't know where Alex is or where when he's coming back, so I'll cross that bridge when I come to it.
I mean, do you have to have it tonight?
Well, the ash is fresh, so probably best tonight, but I know we've already been through quite a lot. I can put it off one more night.
Yeah, I'm a little hungry. Tomorrow would be better for me.
I can give you some now if you need it.
Okay.
I mean, if you got to have it tonight, you got to have it tonight. I'm just saying that, I'm a little hungrier than I usually let myself get. So,
Well, it's gonna take me a while to build this ritual anyway, so tomorrow's fine. Lucio, you're up. Hand over the wrist.
I hand over the rest.
Now, as you only need a few drops if you were doing the entirety of the ritual this evening, are you taking enough so that it doesn't completely dry up before tomorrow? Or are you going to risk just the few droplets?
I'm taking a vial.
All right, Lucia, would you be so kind as to go ahead and make your rouse roll?
Oh boy. First roll of the evening. Oh no.
Oh, yeah. That's a very tasty roll. As you summon the spark, the kernel of beast that exists inside of you, as you force the vitae to the surface, there is a clouding vision dancing around your edge. And for the first time ever, you can see the tall, waifish, almost post-teen image of Laura Blake. It's as if the shadows themselves are painting a picture at the corner of your vision. And you can hear a voice. Not the voice of the near mindless beast you did combat with, but the voice you didn't even realize you remembered. The only slightly animalistic voice. You were a weapon against your father. He planned for you to be a weapon against the world. Somewhere along the way, you only became a weapon to and against yourself. Feeding the beast would make everything better. A drink. All of that beautiful, lovely life moving through the shelter, the forgotten and cast off of the world. No one, not even Hestia, would miss if you took a sip or made one of the new residents disappear. They haven't been there long enough to make connections with anyone. It would be so simple. You could step into the dark, become the fear of every child, and appear next to them, swallowing them whole, drinking down that beautiful life. After all, they're not using it. They're in fact wasting it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here.
You don't get to decide when
Someone should. You're not.
Next time I see you, I'm not making the same mistake.
And as you push back against the beast, as you push back against the tactical brilliance of feeding on someone the world wouldn't miss, Hesha standing there, draining the last drops into the vial.
That took a bit more out of me than I expected.
You gonna be alright? Magic sometimes does that, though.
Yes.
I will live, but I might need to find something to tie me over.
Well, I don't know what else we can manage to get done tonight. It's getting close on the end of the night here. I don't know whether I told you all that I remembered that name that they said, the Dustborn said. She was recently moved to Gary, but she was originally part of the Chantry here. I don't know why she's got her fingers in this, but I'm gonna have to ask Deuceable to check it out. I'm gonna be cautious about it because I don't know how much he knows or how much he doesn't know. He might actually be tied into this, and I don't want to think that he is because he seems like a better person than that, but he's kept secrets from me before, so.
Sorry.
At this point, we should probably assume everyone has some stake in the blood trade. I wouldn't be surprised if he was helping. All the same, we've got to figure out what's going on here and where the blackmailers are.
Well, let's talk about blackmail. Connection that you all found to the Dustborn, to the thin blood of the city, to the very real fact that there is a conspiracy of conspiracies floating in and around the city, getting away with whatever they can, playing the rules as fast and loose as possible. Because in the end, at the denouement of the day, it is not what you do, it is what you can get away with, what you can force someone else to agree or acquiesce to. It is whose ass you can beat at the end of the day. Who can challenge and force you by direct assault or indirect action into the maneuvers and moves that they are expecting you to make, to play along to their plan and to march to their tune. Melinda, it's the same thing across the world. You've been in several different cities. You've been in several different strata of lives. And with your very valuable, very important members of your personal nuclear family floating somewhere out there in the ether, the mention of how used the thin blood are here in Chicago, how hunted they are by Alexa, how they have aligned into their own cults and cults of personality, how they wage a silent, nonstop war against the world at large and the kindred in specific. It makes it almost impossible to not worry where, in the grand scheme of things, they'll land. Because there is a such thing as guilt by association. If I can punish you and all of your friends, leaving you a sign of my strength, there is not one kindred in the world who would not, especially here. And knowing that a member of the Grand Chantry was involved with utilizing the thin blood as disposable mercenaries and security officers is, at best, a trying, weighty ideal to right within yourself.
Yeah, this doesn't sit right with Melinda. She is really starting to regret choosing Chicago to send them to. Like, I should have looked into this more, but she didn't. But she is definitely going to. She definitely wants to renew searching for them and finding a different home, at least for them, while this is all getting sorted.
Well, with the evening still with a few seeing begin to gather the vitae necessary to either build or refortify or reconstruct or construct wards for the coteries haven. Where does that place her? Knowing that the foundational aspects of a ward is literally setting down stakes, is literally saying, this is home. This is a place that I will be safe. This is a place that I'll be witnessed. I'll be heard. I'll be understood. With thoughts and doubts in her mind, is there anything that she's seeking to convey to her associates, her new coterie?
The Templars, the situation with the Templars, it worries me. I keep thinking about it. For those of you who, I think only my cousin Astia knows, but I have a child there that I adopted. A thin blood. And she is somewhere in the city. And I had her and her brother come here because I thought Chicago would be safe for them, but it appears it is not safe for them, even with their own. And I will be fine in Chicago, but they will not be fine. And I need to find them as soon as possible and find them a haven in another city, maybe nearby, where they will be safe from all this thin blood nonsense in the city. I worry about Adriana. And Joel.
Well, the problem with that, I mean, there is no problem. You want to go look for them, go look for them. The reasons that they are not safe here is because this is a tower city. You know, those of the tower tend to believe in the old ways, old wives' tales, old shit in general. So the fact that Inbloods were supposedly the end of times means there's a giant target painting on their back, whether they are or whether they are not the end of times. I personally don't believe that. I think it's kind of silly, but and wars were started for less. So that's kind of the situation here. I mean, you've got your own leading you astray and getting you in trouble and hooking up with the entirely wrong people to get a target bigger hanging on you. You know, bad things happen. Sad but true.
Yes. Not. That's not just Adriana I worry about. It's it's her brother Joel. He would not be with her if she is with the other Finbloods. He is somewhere. Maybe I look in computer store. I might find him in computer store. That would be a good place to look for him. Or a video game. GameStops. Find him in a GameStop. He likes computers. I don't understand them, but he likes them. But Joel is kindred. Only. But he might do fine here still, but Adriana, I worry about her being mixed up. Maybe I should put her in our territory. Maybe she'd be fine. Maybe she'd be fine there. But I'd have to do some more research on towns and their politics before I send her there. Joel is a sweet boy. He doesn't talk, but you'd like him.
Well, just like I'm wards and ley lines, isn't that your kind of magic specialty to find things in people? I know you said before that it's because you told them to go where they couldn't, or you couldn't find them, but I mean, if you really need to find them,
it's like Adriana. I don't want her mixed up in danger. I want her. when I took them on to act as their sire, that is responsibility. And I take my responsibilities very seriously. And I've been busy. And I should start looking for them soon.
As you guys are talking, normally V wouldn't do so. However, the fact that she's entering in somewhat of a hush, having just knocked with the tip of her boot before sliding the door open and moving into the morgue, is sign enough that there is something afoot that does not and would not be able to wait the few hours until daylight and then the 12 hours until sunset. She sits down her tablet, which most who weren't paying attention didn't realize she's been using off and on for the last few weeks, that she's been keeping surveillance on several locations. You won't believe this, but I think we have a clue in regards to your blackmail. The name on the building, the board up company, it goes back several generations. I haven't found this much to be true, but every hack leaves a fingerprint. Every exploit of security leaves a certain telltale sign. Most hackers are proud of their work, and they sign their work in many easily identifiable, though non-verifiable ways. This exploit of Ballard and Disick trading company, this financial house, shows all the signs of actual professional data mining. I was bored. I do apologize. I'm sorry. Was I interrupting something? This is something that might wait. I don't believe that it is, because this points towards a professional. Not a singular entity, not a singular person, but a team.
That makes sense to me, because Ballard made a threat a while back to out all of the masquerade. Irrevocably all of the masquerade. And to do so, he needed proof. His method of getting proof was several video clips of masquerade breaches using the cameras in Chicago. We put a pause on it at one point. I don't know whether he's still planning on doing such a grand reveal. It might just be past the time to do so, because obviously when those clips came out there was a bit of a buzz, but he might still be able to pull it off. So we should probably stop that too while we're doing the whole blackmail thing.
I cannot find much. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say we could always pay him a visit and speak more directly with him.
That is exactly what I was thinking. All of this, the entire security framework for, and she looks at Dizzy, your brother's company. Underneath it all, 2 weeks after Nash was taken on as a client, they were red teamed. The security was tested. The company it was tested by was never lost. It's based out of Arlington Heights.
All right, well, none of that means anything to me. Anyone else?
Does that name ring a bell for Lucio?
Neverlost is a security company that is decently well known locally as a great red team. They test the security of various institutes throughout the city. They have a framework that, based on just Lucio's understanding of technology, would place them in prime example to utilize a wide range of resources, such as phones, city cameras, body cameras from certain police officers if they've been properly exploited, laptops, a secret spider web that, if this is true, would give them access to nearly the entirety of the city without having any of the city traced back to them.
That's not good. Okay. So the way I see it, we have two paths right now to pursue this blackmailer. Number one, we speak with Ballard. Number two, we speak with Neverlost. And by speak, I mean interrogate.
Would that G person know anything about him?
She might.
Seems like that's kind of her wheelhouse, right?
Yes. We might need to give her a call. And by we, I mean you, because my phone is in the gutter now.
Maybe we can get you one of those old school walkie-talkies they used in World War II or something.
Oh my god, this is humiliating. I swear this never happens to me normally. I don't know what set it off.
That's what he said?
Oh god damn it.
Well, if nothing else, we know that it's in a better place now.
Sorry, I had to do it. Okay, let me text G.
A better place? You mean there's a heaven for phones?
I mean, why not?
Sure, they get to experience the afterlife, but us? Oh no, apparently not.
Well, I mean, you can't exactly murder a phone and bring it back to life.
I don't have nearly enough technical know-how to argue that point.
Or nearly enough rice.
Melinda, as you're watching the tablet, as the banter flows hot and heavy, as the signs of actual camaraderie shine through, there is a very troubling aspect to the many feeds that Vivi has suddenly gained access to. There's a lovely, buxom's young African-American woman with curly hair and bright eyes dancing with a blonde gentleman. The feed supposedly is live because the time matches up to right now. It's clearly inside some bar somewhere. And just like all video roulette sites, it moves on after roughly 15 to 20 seconds. And then the next image is there. And on the side tab that she has open in one of the 3 additional windows on the tablet are other locations that are popping up, the other data feeds, email addresses, and all of those sorts of moments. But you know that face intimately. You know that quiet, unassuming blonde boy. You know the young lady that was dancing with him. What you don't know is the club. And wherever they are right this second.
Vivi.
Yes.
The video. of the club, of the dancing. What was it?
The video? It's their feed is it's a subroutine. They're running various things popping up. There are people that watch these links all the time.
No, yes. What club is the dancing in?
What do you mean?
The video of the blonde boy and the girl with the curly hair. What club were they dancing in?
We'd have to hack the feed again to find out where it was. But the rotational random feed.
That's who I'm looking. Those are who I'm looking for.
Why are you looking for a girl and a guy?
There's my adopted
Some people are into
children.
that.
That's who I was talking about. They were just on the on VV screen. Adriana and Joel. Green. Just saw them, their faces. Club. Which club?
Would you be so kind as go ahead and roll for Vivi?
This is the Dizzy. That is just who I was talking about.
Okay. So you're actively looking for them, right?
Yes.
Go ahead, Hess.
Did Hestia see the video clip when they were scrolling through it?
She was texting G, who immediately responded back with "fire away." I said, "Ask whatever you need to ask." And would you be so kind as to roll 6 dice for Vivi? All right. Well, as the stress is showing at the cracks and edges of Melinda, Vivi does her best to pull back the feed or to rewind time, as it were. Time travel isn't possible. However, data tracking based on time is. And that club is 100% in the Chicago area. It is actually at the northwestern corner of Arlington Heights. It's a little out of the way place. It's called Coach House, and it's the sort of place where you go to either hook up or be hooked up with whatever your DOC is.
And how far away is that?
It would take you about 30 minutes down the expressway if you flow.
30 minutes? Does the Melinda is going to call an Uber and have it go to that club, and then while she is waiting for her Uber, she is going to look up the number for the club. And see if she can get Adriana on the phone.
The beautiful thing is that most businesses have a number that is connected with them. Unfortunately, in this day and age, Fortunately, at this hour of the evening, trying to call a nightclub in full swing is effectively like trying to play charades with a blind man. The phone will ring and ring and ring and ring.
Oh. Well, she's gonna say like, I'm going to the club. I'm going to the club. Who wants to go with me? I'm going to the club.
I mean, any other time I would be totally down to go to the club because that's who I am, but I have to take care of something this morning, so.
Right. As soon as the Uber gets there, she's going to grab her bag and hop in and be like, tell her Uber driver, if you can take the speediest, quickest way to get to the club, I will give you $5 and your tip will be very good.
Uber, Lyft, several other rideshare companies are one of the beautiful things about living in a metropolitan area. They come with some frequency. At this hour of the evening, most of those persons who are working are in fact near clubs. Unfortunately, where you are in Rogers Park is not near a club or bar. It's locally, as far as Rogers Park, not that far from several who are east on Morris and right at Lakeshore, Sheridan and Morris. That end of Rogers Park is a veritable entertainment district for the locals. People get suited up in their everyday best and go and while away their evening, trying to drown out their troubles and float their joy, their happiness on all manner of beverages. So impatiently waiting, because there is the very real fact that there is a time clock always ticking in the background, as if the time itself was a bomb waiting for you to misstep or ignore its ever-present tick, tick, tick. As Hestia reaches out to G and Lucio watches the happenings as they occur, Vivi suggests very directly, being as we've already lost one van, why not just drive there? And snatches up her tablet, moves to the garage to obtain a van that would allow you all to make it to Arlington Heights, being as Never Lost is headquartered there, being as the club that Melinda noticed is there, being as having proof, not just conjecture, is always helpful when making a case, whether you follow through on it or not. Physical evidence, intellectual evidence, is the key linchpin to actually swaying someone else to your pattern of thought. Time being of the essence, with the sunrise not far enough off to not be a concern, but far enough off that the risk is worth squeeze. What is it that you all decide to do? You have a Coda member who is panicked. Someone who is vital to them is potentially slipping away. You have the location of a company, which most assuredly should be closed at this hour of the evening, allowing easy egress to obtain information. And you have time.
Well, who's up for a evening road trip?
Well, if Vivi is hell-bent on going, I guess I'm going as well.
Cynthia finally looks up from the phone with her brow raised. What? Oh, sure. I just don't like the idea of Melinda by herself at the club, though, because who knows what could happen there. I guess we're, I freaking hate it, splitting the party.
Driving through Chicago, and the Chicagoland area has its own sort of rules of the road. You go as fast as necessary to get where you need to, as quickly and safely as you possibly can. Now, the varying factors of what that safety actually means usually, often, occasionally, results in several pileups, several mishaps. However, Vivi is not the standard driver. She has experience, she has determination, and she has, without shading it too indirectly and without beating the horse that's already dead, she literally doesn't care about bruising, about contusions, about anything else. There has been one guiding light in her life, and it was snuffed out. Her service to the nation as a member of the armed forces, her reason for joining the armed forces, her ability and experience in excelling at mental warfare as well as physical warfare has grafted a certain fool's bravery to her actions. And while her skill is beyond reproach, the beast that is Chicago's traffic takes its toll on all sorts. Those of you who are immediately aware as to what an engine is, a combustion engine, a rocket powered by gas and fire, the fact that she's pushing the van as quickly and skillfully as she is raises no small amount of issues as to the bare fact of how much does she actually love living? Is there any real reason for her to not damn it all and accidentally lose track of her pace? Crash into one of the walls or another car, coming close, drafting, all but rubbing bumpers. You all arrive in Arlington Heights. You are far less hair raised than expected. And as you all arrive at Coach House, you see that it is a late night party capital for Arlington Heights. It is packed. The lot looks as if you have arrived at a Bears game just in time for tailgating. There are all manner and strata of vehicles in this lot, from your baby mama Mazda to your low rent mini mansion version of Teslas. You have all manner of cars and all manner of people who are making their way into the fight capital of Arlington Heights.
Melinda gets out. What time of the night is it?
Late.
Like our late, or like what are the humans still doing up late?
It is close enough to keeping an eye as to how long dilly-dally is important, but far enough away where you have all the time you need to accomplish whatever you may set your mind to. It is late. Parties in full bloom. There are several levels of drunkenness apparent, though drunkenness is the least of your worry considering that this is the drug capital and the fight capital of Arlington Heights. It is the late night mecca. It's the place where you come to, again, hook up or be hooked up with your DLC.
Yes. Melinda says to Vivi, so it was your screen, so you saw the blonde and the girl with the curly hair, right?
If it will help, yes.
That means no. You didn't notice them on the screen. You were at the military, right?
Yes.
What I am looking for, I could use your help if you are willing to give it in there. A young girl, about 20. My roommate looks like a young Hestia.
Okay. I can understand that. Not that. And pardon me for saying so.
It's really distracting how much they look alike, honestly. You know, like I would think they're related, maybe. They might be. Really. And the a blonde young man with her. They were dancing together. They might still be dancing together. I could use your eyes to find them.
Oh, of course. Forgive me for saying so. I don't know you very well. And there's a weight. There's a balance of responsibility that we have to each other. You are friends and associates with Dizzy. That makes you, even in passing, far more valuable to me than anyone else in the world right now. Much like Hestia and Lucio. Spending as much time together as we have, there's a responsibility on our part to make sure that we are as safe, secure, and happy as we can make each other. So if this will make you happy, I will not bother finding a decent parking spot. We'll pull over right here and we'll make our way into the club and we will find these people for you. Then we will storm the castles of our nearby potential enemy to find proof so that you, Hestia, and you, Lucio, and you, Dizzy, can stop whatever these people who have harmed your sister in passing, who have threatened the shelter, indirectly and directly, who have harmed your brother by incident of pressure, will be removed from your path and we can get back to what's important to me. We are all in this together. So, we have an idea that we're looking for Hestia, light, in the company of a blonde man, wayfish, and then I'm taking it he has blue eyes as well.
Yes, if you talk to him, he cannot speak. It's not that he won't, it is can't.
I know I'm attractive, but I didn't believe I was that attractive.
Melinda will laugh.
Melinda, I believe that it would probably be best, as you are the most intimate with these people, to take the point.
Yes.
Dizzy is very social and has her way with people. She should back you up. Hestia, you and Lucio have your own abilities in fire searching, so you should take the wings and move through the crowd together, forming a line so that no one slides past you. And I'll pull up the rear and act as a double trap so that we can find these individuals and move on to our next task.
Sure thing, Coach.
Unless someone else has a better idea.
I never have a better idea.
Thing
I like
right
the
now, I'm
youth.
against splitting the party, so I'd say this seems like a pretty good strategy.
Working together is always the best idea. After all, we are stronger together with all of our abilities focused toward the task than separate and divisible.
A lesson that took us a long time to learn, far longer than we admittedly should have.
Excellent. While I distract the doorman because I'm not sure that you all have valid identification, you
I
all
do.
sneak past. Excellent. So then you can distract the doorman.
I can distract anyone.
I think my ID's too good, but yeah, this will be fun, I'm sure.
There are certain signs that everyone who has ever been in a bar or in a nightclub know, as it is definitely the sort of place where you keep your car keys handy and make sure you pay cash so that you don't have to come back for your credit card. This is that sort of place. As many people actually visit Coach House, as many people party at Coach House, as many people know Coach House exists and are willing to sacrifice potentially their freedom, at least for a night, being thrown in jail or more. It is surprisingly that sort of place where you will not bring your date. You may find a date there, but you would not bring them because it is very much the idea of suburban crime. It has the feel of a place where knowing the right turn of a phrase could get you almost anything, whether they are willing or otherwise, whether it is legal or merely ahead of the curve in regards to the laws passed. This is the sort of place where you can imagine just out back behind that dumpster or that series of dumpsters, there may be a drug deal or a gun deal going down right at this very moment. With the amount of people, most would assume this is the wrong place for that sort of thing, but the people who are involved, the people who visit, this is the perfect place to be seen and invisible. This is the perfect place for things to go wrong. And as Dizzy makes her way towards the doorman, who sizes you all up as one would size up people they will eventually have to punch repeatedly. What is everyone doing?
I will activate my awe as I twirl some of my platinum hair around a finger and blow a bubble. And I will make eyes at the doorman and say, "Hi."
That being the case, to be so kind as go ahead and roll your charisma plus subterfuge plus presence. And while you make that roll, the doorman who is no... Yes.
Would this be considered seduction? Because I have a special.
Are you attempting to seduce him? Are you trying to make yourself seem available?
Absolutely.
And very much so. And while the roll is happening, and Hestia and Lucio and Melinda are pulling up the second positions, what is everyone else doing?
Well, Hestia knows her idea is good because she keeps on top of that stuff, and she has Joe to kind of help her, so she's not worried about her ID. And pulls it up in her wallet so that she doesn't have to take it out of the wallet, but you can show it if that becomes necessary. For the most part, though, short as she is, she's still trying to scan the crowd and see if she sees all blonde, willowy boy.
Lucio is going to try and use heightened senses to try and find them.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, would you be so kind as to solve plus awareness? You definitively need to get at least 3. You're moving into a nightclub with a driving bass that would make Blade blush and a frenetic level of activity in the patrons because they literally are high on everything from 17 shots of whiskey to mescaline. People are talking too close, too loud, indescribably English and indecipherably Spanish all at once. You're dealing with the overwhelming scent of Axe body spray on the women and Aqua de Jo on the men, mixing and mingling with the scent of desperation and drug-fueled hazes. And then you gotta deal with the patrons, it's not just the staff.
Alright, resolve, awareness, and am I adding aspects?
Yes. The doormen are immediately not just swayed. One of them takes off his shirt to flex. The other is, adjusting himself and ensuring that he's properly plump to show off his natural gifts or purchase gifts, as the case may be. The line behind you all are focused on, hey, don't worry about them. I gotta. And several catcalls come barreling out from the line behind you, as well as the clear cooler who was watching the 2 doormen who are point on the door begins rolling up the sleeves on his blazer, showing off his very slim, trim, Patrick Swayze-esque musculature. The women who are moving just past you all into the club pause and flip their hair, making eye contact with Dizzy. It is the exact opposite of subtle, but it works. There is no way that anyone is questioning anything more than can they buy you the first 6. The next 6, I got the last 12. They're not going anywhere. I got just a thing. I got a boot back. Come on with me. I will get. And that haze and crowd of very focused onlookers and devotees are not only swayed, but highly attenuated toward attempting to please Dizzy and vicariously the party she's with, because after all, everyone knows if you please the friends, you might get in.
Well, I will link arms with 1 or 2 that I find attractive because I'm hungry anyway and it smells like a buffet in here. And we'll just walk right in.
Heightened sense is great for it's great for understanding the ebb and flow of things. This is an anthill of desperation, last-ditch hope. This is the place where you come to experience the most chemically motivated and fueled sense of happiness you can. There's a brain-numbing, brain-searing flow that it is hard to ignore. Bass pounds as if there is an 808 machine plugged into your cerebellum. The people are moving in such a frenetic pace, you could stand here all day in the doorway watching them move because it is just strangely enthralling. And there are roughly, of the 150 people in this space designed for 60, about 40 women that discounting hair being pulled back or the odd pair of glasses or clearly too old or clearly too young fit the description. There are a huge number of blonde, either bottled or natural, that are dancing, most of them with the purchased gym muscles that is all the rage these days. And unfortunately for Lucio, there's a certain portion of his brain he can't turn off. His danger sense is not only tingling, it is vibrating as if it has a life of its own. He counts no less than 3 different drug deals happening, almost in the open. They're attempting to be subtle about it, but knowing what to look for, it is as plain as day. He also notices several faces from the file he received from Novak. He notices several wan looks, the hungry sort of gazes one recognizes as predator to predator, a mutual understanding as to what they are. Who amongst the coterie is blushed currently?
Considering that I've linked arms with a pair of people, I probably should do that.
You're so kind as to go ahead and make that rouse roll. And those of you who are not blushed, this close to the press and ebb of humanity, you normally stand out. No one's batting an eye. Heroin chic is the standard.
I think Lucio would try and disguise himself, or at least like try and blend in. It's usually his style, so I will roll as well. Risk taken.
Yes. The beauty of, you were saying, Hess?
Is standing at the edge of the crowd at one moment, and then before she realizes that she can look around, she is now somewhere in the middle of the floor, having been swallowed by the crowd and moved around, trying to dodge people's upper bodies and legs. No more Hessian for you.
Dizzy will look at Melinda and say, all right, go find your peeps. I'm going to go get my freak on. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
All right.
Dizzy and Lucio blushing is a beautiful thing. It's a great thing. You're suddenly warmer. You can feel the ebb and flow. You can breathe a little clearer, a little truer to fact. You're able to feel the effects of pheromones at play. You're able to enjoy the warmth of body. You're able to return a little bit of that in kind. It is the penultimate disguise and invisibility for blending with the human population. Otherwise, while you guys are usually able to keep your distance or not get too close and not to get too wrapped up, unless of course you're purposely hunting for blood, you stand out as the monstrous demons given flesh that you are, the very fact that you are in fact dead. However, blushing, rousing the vitae to seem human is a miracle. You completely disappear into the crowd of sheep. It also comes with the unenviable bonus that not even other kindred know that you are kindred as such. And while Dizzy begins wooing, little touches, little flirtations, the flip of her hair, the pop of her gum, the fact that she stands just close enough to give you the idea that you should lean in for a more personal conversation, or in to give the hint that you may want to kiss and see if she makes that additional 10% to close the deal. Seeming human makes you all seem prey. And as Lucio is standing taking the ebb and flow of the club, and as she disappears into the crowd, there's a subtle play along his arm, a flirtatious grin tossed his way, a slow, languid approach, and he finds himself in the company of a not quite statuesque, relatively Rubenesque woman who is attempting to chat him up. And while Dizzy has her prey of choice cornered and to a small alcove where there can be a little more intimate. They can exchange a little more play. Not very long into that play. Just about when she's preparing to close the deal, she finds that she's not entirely alone. There's a couple. We saw you 2 and 3, and we're hoping we might be able to join. And has she in the center of the club, the dance floor raving around her, bodies grinding and bumping and bouncing, and in some more than few cases, simply swaying, counter to the beat of the bass, counter even to the lyrics, lost in the tune of their own making due to whatever they've managed to inhale, drink, snort, shoot, or drop. While Melinda begins staring at searching the floor, searching through the motions and the activity, the play of light and dark as the lights flicker and shine and strobe around her. Kind of wits plus awareness. And while that roll is happening, Dizzy, in your corner of potential 5, what is it that you're doing?
Sorry, she'll kind of see how it plays out there.
So giving over the reign of your capture audience, your captive guest, your potential meal of the day, night, and all the states in between, there's a certain magic, a certain feel. Billy hasn't been happy, not truly so, quietly so, going quietly and enjoying those moments, but never extensively happy. That real titillation of sheer unbridled elation begins crawling over her skin as if she's being bathed in its light. Legit to fight that feeling.
She will be wary, but she doesn't want to tip her hat just yet, or tip her hand.
That feeling, like all things illicit, like all things hot and heavy, all things bright and showy, is contagious. You watch as your partners, their touches and caresses grow more intense, more insistent as the couple begins making themselves at home, first with a touch and then a welcoming hug, stepping into that more than intimate personal space and begin kissing, begin exchanging touches and caresses. Dizzy's back is stroked, her hair is touched, her cheek is examined, and the conversation drops to that animalistic language that every living thing knows. It's time to get a little closer. And just at the point of touching, spreading from one to the next and ramping up so that all but actual interactions of a hot and sweaty variety begin taking place, we shift our gaze to the middle of the dance floor as bodies bounce and people are yelling to the music and moving to their own time. There's a touch. You probably shouldn't be down here by yourself, girl. And there's a tall, statuesque basketball player sized woman standing next to Hestia.
No kidding. I have smelled so many asses here by accident. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. It was really awkward. Yeah, I think I want to go up.
You want to go up? Oh, don't tell me you're one of those treetop lovers who thinks you can just climb any tree.
Well, I do like plants, but no, that wasn't my point. I just need to get off the floor so I can see better because see them obviously because I'm super short.
You came with your friends? Is this like a group thing? No, I'm kidding, girl. Come on. And she takes your hand and begins leading you through the crowd. A few of her strides, more like 25 of yours, you find yourself at the back end of the dance floor. Not only at the back end of the dance floor, but stepping off of the floor, you realize how expansive it is. It is clearly larger than most people would expect, and it's only as you exited that you realize that flickering, strobing light effect is mirrored by the floor. It is moving in accordance to the music, but because of so many bodies and pressed so closely together, it is hard to discern. Even as close to it as you were, the wane light from the clearly old system barely registers when compared to the bright, almost laser-like strobe of the ceiling lights. Girl, you know you are definitely not the sort to be out there.
I guess I was just trying to be one of the cool kids.
Yeah, well, the cool thing is to make your own way, to take your own steps. Speaking of taking your own steps, are you part of the yacht club or are you part of the
Estia looks absolutely confused. And botany club? Wasn't the botany club?
Botany? Really, that's definitely some rich people shit. Girl, look, I normally don't do this, but it's clear looking at you that you don't belong out there with all of them breathing people. You probably should have hung back or at least called ahead, but luckily I don't take offense. My name's Yvonne. You may have heard of me, Baron of Arlington Heights.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh, it's kind of a spur of the moment thing, and I promised I already ate before I came here. So, it's not one of those things. We really are looking for each other, and you wouldn't have happened to see a really tall, lanky blonde, violent, debonair sort, and somebody that looks like me, probably a little taller, a little younger.
Girl, Arlington Heights is 45% black. You know how many black women attempt to let their hair go in this day and age? And how many of us date across the board? You might as well just said throw a dart.
Yeah, but they would be like linked at the hip and never far from each other, I'm guessing.
Look, because I'm not a violent sort, I really don't give a shit about yacht club or union. Not interested. But this is Thin Blood Night. That's the only reason why I asked. Look out there and she waves her hand, and for the first time you realize you're not the only person there unblushed. What is easily mistaken as drug chic, heroin chic, model-less high cheekbones are the faces of the recent dearly dead. These are interspersed, intermingled, nearly at a one-for-one basis. Thin blood who are more dead than perhaps Aiden. Thin blood who may not have been gifted with the ability to walk in the sun. And being this far outside of the official range of Chicago gives this place and Baron Yvonne the opportunity to decide who is welcome. And it's clear that tonight it's members of the Dustborn.
Oh, I did not know that, and thank you for telling me that. That makes sense as to why that particular friend would be here this evening. They did not tell me they were coming here. Wait a minute. Well, thank you for getting me off the dance floor. I'm just gonna find my friend and we'll be out of your hair right before this.
Well, you're here now. You might as well party. We'll talk about anything else later. Tonight's kind of an open Elysium for those of us who don't take part in the towers going on. I spotted you because, well, I heard about you. I just didn't think it was real. Why would a hound come all the way out here? Especially a hound that supposedly, well, you know, I heard you all restructured. Is it true?
He's a storyteller. I think I know what she's saying, and Hestia thinks she knows what she's saying, sort of, but am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Is she hitting on us?
She most assuredly is. She most assuredly is being welcoming. And she most assuredly just mentioned something that many outside of the gentry should not know.
Oh, yeah. Okay, because I thought she was talking about the coterie. That's why I got confused for a second. But restructuring, yes. Okay. So, Hestia kind of shrugs. People are running around crazy, asking for transfers and stuff, so I don't think they're restructuring. This girl never tells me anything. So, who knows that old guy?
Girl, your secret's safe with me. I'm not supposed to tell nobody, but I'm not supposed to probably say this, but you seem like one of the good ones. And I heard so much about the shelter. It made me wanna, for a little bit, maybe be tower myself, but that's really not in the cards for me. My girlfriend moved all the way out to Gary, so I kind of got a hard feeling as far as it, but I do get a chance to get a few words in here and there. So,
Wait,
how
hold on.
about it?
Wait, you're asking about the pantry. I got that part. Girlfriend, okay, I see you, understand it. And just moved to Gary.
Oh, you know, relatively, of course.
Hey, sure, I know who you're talking about.
Really?
Yep. Pretty sure I know who you're talking about.
Oh my God, I knew you guys talked a lot. I didn't know you guys talked that much. She was telling me all the telling anybody about, but a little word in the right ear, and God knows what you can make happen. So how did you meet Marie?
Marie?
Yeah, Marie de Rocher.
Sorry, I think probably go by a different name when they're in different places. You know how we like to pretend.
No, she's proud of her family. The de Rocher, she says Duchette, but I say de Rocher. It's how it's spelled, DR. And then why would you try to put them together? D apostrophe R. That's de, right? I'm right?
Right, yep. Sounds kind of pretentious to me, but okay.
You know how those Creole women are. But anyway, when she says anyway, she sits down in such a practice motion that while the skirt that she's wearing is short enough to be considered a shirt, Nothing is viewed, and she crosses one leg over the other. Though those on the dance floor most surely were titillated by the idea of catching a glimpse or a sight or a peek at something that they shouldn't have, she manages to do so without ever crossing. As she sits, she throws one arm over the back of the booth, the other pointing towards the dance floor, resting lightly on the edge of the booth. You know, while your friends are out there, we can actually continue talking right here. And you can see them if they come to this side of the floor. And as she says that, come to this side of the floor, the hand trailing across Lucio's forearm is warm and hot and soft, and clearly someone who believes in purchasing as many lotions as necessary to maintain perfectly silken skin. The eyes, however, are another matter entirely. They stare hungrily at his face. Lucio has never been an unattractive person, even growing up as a child. However, he's grown into his ears, and his nose is no longer large as he once believed that it was. And in this light, and with having roused the vitae, he looks very much like the living embodiment of the bad boy. His dark brows, high cheekbones, and lightly scruffed facial hair. He is tantalizing. It's a siren's song that she's unable to stave off. That is what I am very, very curious about. I believe in going after what I want. And what I would like is a little time with you. Maybe for us to exchange numbers. Maybe get to know each other at a later time.
Right to the point. I like it. So, we're gonna exchange numbers here, out among the crowd, where we're just gonna get pushed around, or do you know somewhere a little private?
Oh, here is fine. No one. Now, as she speaks and her hand caresses, drawing the attention and the focus, feeling the effects of a rise in his beast, feeling the effects of a lightness of thought settling over him, a almost saccharine, artificial feeling of elation. Would Lucio fight that impetus? Would he attempt to push off that feeling, that contagious, sociable feeling? The scent of the bodies, the scent of the evening, the sound of the music, the look in her eyes, the feel of her touch are all conspiring.
So between Lucio's hunger and his recent diet trends, and the fact that he's 98% sure that she's kindred, Lucio's first thought when seeing her was dinner just served itself.
So does he fight off the conspiring effects of the in his heart? Does he go with the flow?
He's gonna try and fight it off in order to try and bring them to somewhere more unseen, somewhere private, because he's not one to
Okay. Okay, that being the case, would you be so kind as to roll your manipulation plus... Oh, sorry. Your composure plus intelligence for me, please.
that's a good roll.
Oh, mistake. by one. He is resolute in the need for privacy. He is resolute in that he will not fall prey to whatever is going on here in this club until he gets what he needs. 3 minutes later, he and she are making out very pointedly at the bar, her hands all over him, touching him in places that he has not been caressed in quite some time, her lips sliding along his jawline towards his, at the same time as his lips are sliding across her chin, easing down her neck. And just as he gets to that sweet spot, right below the crux of the jaw of the neck, he realizes, wait a goddamn minute, this isn't private at all. Does he continue? Does he allow his beast to continue pushing him? Does he allow the moment to, as no one seems to give one whit, no one seems to be batting any eye? Does he? Or does he give himself kindred priapism?
You know what? It's now or never.
There are certain things that fate conspires to cause to happen. Lucio has had the opportunity in the last few weeks to sample the most divine, most esoteric of kindred vitae. He has had the opportunity to drink from the fountainhead of various bloodlines, various species of supernatural entities that he had heretofore not had the opportunity to. And as the far warmer than expected vitae begins coating his throat, he knows instinctually that this is not just blood. This is not just the life source of something who still breathes. This is very much the thick, rich, soul-warming essence of a kindred. So, now in his consumption, would he attempt to fight his natural inclination to drink until he has had his fill? If so, you would roll your resolve plus composure -1. If not, we will turn back in a few moments. Well, she's already dead. She's kindred.
I don't intend to diabolize her, if that's what you mean. I'm going to just bring it down to 1. That's my intention.
Alright, excellent. Would you be so kind to go ahead and roll resolve plus composure -1. And while that's happening, Melinda, this is absolute madness. There were several world-renowned, at least as far as the rumors go, clubs in El Paso. There were nights where every manner of debauchery could be experienced with but a glance, a batting of the eyes. This is that on crack. Literally willing to do anything and everything for the moment. The people around her dancing to their own tune. The faces happily upturned toward the cameras, which are hidden in the rafters. The bass pounding and driving each other on as if this was one of the rings of hell where the only escape, the only respite is complete and utter debauchery. Melinda. Okay, seems as we're having a technical difficulties. We'll take a quick 10. It is 10 after the hour. We will return in 20, and hopefully Melinda's technical difficulties have expired, and if not, we'll pick up with Dizzy in the corner, enjoying the touch and caress of people who have every intention of divesting her of her social mores and any hesitation she might have about going over the edge. So see you guys back here at 20 after the hour. All right, folks, how we doing it? Roughly a minute two. Anyone else back?
Yep.
All right. Looks as if Melinda's still experiencing a small bit of technical difficulties. I see that she is muted. Let's give a quick reach out and see if they are hand. And while I tap furiously as if I'm a hacker, being this close to other people, let alone other kindred, as the inclination slowly crawls along Dizzy's lizard-like survival instincts, does she continue going with the flow as it gets hot and heavy, as lips become more prevalent, as there's a brush initially soft and treaty, leaning closer. My name is Samantha, and this is my lover, Kevin. You are?
Being not super interested in feeding off other kindred tonight, even if they are thin bloods, she is going to probably extricate herself from that situation.
Okay, which please will kind of go ahead and compose.
Composure and what?
Intelligence plus presence.
Composure, intelligence, and presence?
Yes, Dizzy actually has presence, so she can.
She has a few dots, yeah. Shit.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
Can't willpower out of that one either.
Oh, wow. Okay. The attempt was far more successful. The unmitigated gall of another person attempting to corral her thoughts via her emotions is as insulting as being slapped by someone who is cooking spaghetti. It is the most simple-minded, childish thing for someone to engage in a food fight, let alone attempt to beat you into submission with a wet, moist spaghetti noodle. And that's the insult that Dizzy feels in the moment. Some core of who she was before this whole death after life existence, some portion of who she was fighting with her brother over the last nutty bar, some portion of that self-assured child who went out into the world to find them and found themselves dead raises to the fore, and the snarl of sheer fucking hell, how dare you? If not for the driving bass, could be heard across the entirety of the bar. However, with the bass driving as loudly as it is, as the cheers of mindless enjoyment dull everything and blend into this miasmic soup of just a wall of sound, her growl of annoyance registering comes across as if she so titillated, as if they are so successful that it is a foregone conclusion that they will be able to feed to their heart's content. And as her growl of annoyance is misread as a purr of pleasure, it gets to the point where Dizzy has to push them off of her. In doing so, there's a crack and a cry of pain as Kevin realizes that Dizzy is not prey and that the tables have turned. And it's only as she is pulling her mouth away from the all too human Kevin that she realizes that not everyone here is as dead as she is, and that Samantha, as potent as she believed herself to be, is clearly the master of nothing, not even this moment. Reduce your hunger by 2. Kevin is reaching for his throat because while it was pleasurable, it was insanely violent. Insane. Oh my God. I'm not sure if I'm deathly afraid or deathly aroused.
Dizzy will wipe her mouth with her sleeve, kind of snarl at the pair of them.
The 2 chosen members that Dizzy had picked out for her, the attractively, clearly not drug-addled men, are unsure as to what exactly is happening. To them, it looked that Dizzy began French kissing his neck and blood began to spurt. They knew wild women in their time. They knew a few wild men. But this was something else entirely, and the fear that sits in his face is torn between the sheer weight of Samantha's presence, Dizzy's ferocity, and Kevin's confused hard-on that is rubbing against her taller selection leg.
Dizzy will look at the 2 people she originally intended to feed on. Say, consent is important. The rest of you have a lovely evening.
Violence, questionably arousing moment. They are at a loss for how to respond. Normally when you see someone assaulted, it's clear. You either step in and help or you call for help. They're not sure. One of them has bothered to have the wherewithal and strength of character to at least reach for his phone. The other is stunned and silent, and Kevin is confused. Samantha, however, is attempting to make the best of the situation and trying to garner their attention as well as prove that she is bigger, badder bitch. And as the very wan tendrils of her pheromones and aura rocket across Dizzy's skin, like standing too close to a heater. It annoys her. You pitiful example of what's wrong with our world. How dare you? That sense of self still sitting there very much on the cusp of what she is. There's certain considerations that come to bear. If there's this many kindred openly hunting amongst the crowd, how exposed is Vivi?
Yeah, I had kind of considered that too. So I'm going to go look for her. In fact, I will make a rouse check to bring her to me by using summon as I'm looking for her.
So guys, go ahead and roll your manipulation plus presence as the beast takes back a semblance of control. My. Aren't you a lucky one? Staving off all attempts to be swayed. It'd be easier just to grab another. They are everywhere. They're willing. You are able. And if you really are as blessed by fate and cursed by luck, this would be child's play.
Yeah, I'm busy now. You shush.
Too busy to make the right decision. And as Dizzy...
You've gotten a lot of what you wanted lately. Just leave me alone right now.
And as Dizzy pushes the weight of her darker thoughts out of conscious mind, she reaches forth with the might of her kindred existence and begins summoning Vivi to her. In the doing of such, there is a small, strange tickle. Vivi's not a pet. Vivi has proven loyal, determined, and steadfast. Something about reaching into the ether and drawing her to you smacks of something that Dizzy's not quite able to put her finger on, but it's troubling all the same.
Yeah, but she's gonna tell herself it's for Vivi's safety right now, so.
As the connection is made, blood to blood, she can feel Vivi. And for all of Vivi's experiences in the world at large, for all experiences with the violent, dangerous, hair-raising, adrenaline-pumping moments, there is one area that Dizzy is intimately aware that Vivi has not as nearly as much experience. She can clean a gun in under 6.5 minutes, completely dry, properly oiled, put back together and ready to fire. With all of the care and detail of an obsessive who has a cleaning fetish. Yet there's an area in her life, in her life's experiences, where she is as inexperienced as a child heading to kindergarten. And this is one of those areas. There is a certain pheromone air, a certain push towards the erotic. There's a certain push towards the titillating. There's a push towards the illicit and socially questionable behaviors of public affection. And the definition of affection being stretched as thin and invisible as onion skin. And it's everywhere. As Dizzy reaches out, she sees there's a lip smeared with blood there. There's a syringe being pumped into a muscle there. There is a person underneath the table there. And as she looks around the space, she sees the back end of the building. Hestia sitting with what can best be described as a giant woman. And Vivi's pleasure washes over the connection between excitement, scratches an itch in a corner of her mind. And from the crowd, holding her right hand over her left wrist, comes Vivi. Dizzy has seen her in almost every state of being. She's never seen me with her eyes so bright, dancing with unspent tears. She's never seen his skin so flush. And yet, there she is. Her right hand busy holding her left wrist, coming from the crowd of dancers.
I will close the distance to her quickly, but not, unnaturally quickly.
Chica, I don't know. I don't know. I found them. And they're gone.
The two we're looking for?
Yes. Yes, definitely the two we're looking for. Hestia, but younger and tall, wayfish thin, blonde. Not talking. Hestia has a brand, a gang sign. I feel.
It was one of them that bit you?
No, I was closing and then these eyes. He put his, oh my God. I need to sit down.
Is she actively bleeding, or is the wound closed?
There's a trickle of blood because the bite hasn't been properly closed. It's not enough that she's in risk of immediate blood loss, but it is clear that even in the midst of the pleasure of the embrace, that she pulled herself free. The bite mark that's there is the sort that would happen of a vampire. A lick bit down and tore out, as if it was an interrupted moment.
So is she in need of some medical attention, or is this something I can attend to, or?
You very much could attend to.
Then I will do so before she loses any more blood, even though it's just a trickle.
There's an intimacy that has always been there between. There's been an understanding of the loneliness of their existences that has bound them together, not simply because of the blood, but in spite of that false, deep connection, there is a real one there. Because unfortunately and honestly, Dizzy has been lonely and grieving this entire time. Even when setting down roots, even when investing herself in the community of Viola, there is a need that has been unrealized due to her grief. That similar grief of loss is the driving force of the entirety of experiences, and if unchecked, crushing. So as Dizzy grabs Vivi, daring the flick of her tongue, the taste of Vivi's blood is still soaked in the endorphin, the pleasure of the kiss. It has been far too long since Dizzy has experienced such herself, but even experienced this moment vicariously, even tasting the dregs, the last drops of it. It explains why most victims, why most prey, even as their lives are eking out down their predator's throat, don't fight, can't pull themselves away, and is lost to the pleasure of the kiss. Even those few drops explains and gives validity to all of those moments that have been lost by humans over the centuries, over the ages, not just by the hands of the coterie, but by kind of mixing with the base of this moment. There's a before and an after, and this is the line marking the two.
Are you okay? Do you feel lightheaded?
I cannot believe. She moves her hand to her brow, trying to rub it, because Dizzy knows what almost no one else does. Vivi has never been with another person, not in any physical sense of the word. And the effects of the kiss are as close to the penultimate pleasure as anything else could be.
Yeah, I know, it feels good, right? That helps us. That's not a good thing, but
I need. I'm sorry. I just.
all right. Well, let me help you. Let's get you out. Let's get some air. Are they still here? Did they leave?
I'm sorry. They were there, and then those eyes, those swirling honeyed eyes. How can I be so stupid? Oh God. They were over there, but not far from. And then she looks into the crowd, trying to find her words, trying to find her place, trying to swim through a defining moment for most people in regards to not only their sexuality, but their perception of the world. Trying to remember the face of the person that provided that pleasure and stole that moment all in one. It is the singular, most disconcerting aspect of any person's existence. There's the penultimate pleasure stolen because it's not with someone that you know. There's the penultimate shame of a sharp mind so sharp that it could slice through stone, having moments stolen. There's the loss of agency, and there is the inherent personal guilt of responsibility. She had a mission. It was a temporary, short-term mission, but she had an indescribable knowing that you were inches from success and something else came, and as if you were of no more weight than a songbird shooed you away, as if your hopes, dreams, and will swatted like a fly. All of those emotions are dancing across Vivi's face. And for someone who's never been outside of their control, this is the after. This is the new normal.
Yeah, let's get you out of here. Do you see the guy who did this to you?
I remember his eyes. I remember like sun through a glass of her voice is sweet. That's not me at all. I remember his eyes. I up to them or straight at them. No, he was shorter than me. No.
Look, we can do all kinds of things to your brain and your emotions. Don't hold it. Don't look at it as a failure. You were preyed upon.
I don't like it. Because I still feel as if I was. And her eyes moistened.
It's my fault for putting you in this situation, but I didn't know we were in this situation until it was too late.
And as Dizzy and Vivi make their way across the dance floor, back towards the main door, Melinda,
Yes.
having scanned the crowd, having spotted several faces that are similar but not quite, having spotted several bodies that are similar but not quite, Melinda makes her way across the floor. She's searching and she's doing her best to remain non-frantic, to not scare the sheep because, well, yeah, unblushed, she up close and personal, close enough to touch, is very much dead. There's no ifs and buts about it. There's no way around it. There's something that she's grown accustomed to. By not blushing, she knows that she is the monster, and yet no one is bothered. So no one is so bothered that as she's making her way across the dance floor, a hand slides along her wrist, and then another rests on her shoulder. And there's motion. And through the cascading bodies and the touches made and the come-ons tossed off, the coolness of her skin should be just off-putting enough to assure her space and autonomy. Yet in this crowd, as she sees face, there she is.
Melinda walks a bit faster.
Hey, where you going? Hey, I'm trying to get your attention. Don't go anywhere. Going. Hang on.
What?
Turning toward the voice, you find a woman roughly about 5'6", long red hair that reaches just above her hips. Her little black dress could be shorter, but you're not sure exactly how, with her maintaining any modesty. The jewelry that she's wearing in this kaleidoscopic display of light and sound is clearly several pay grades above anything else that she's wearing. Almost as if she borrowed grandmother's jewels to go clubbing. That makes no sense at all, but yet, lo and behold, there it is. That silver is clearly older than even Melinda. That setting hasn't been done in several formative decades. That layout of bracelets, the tattoo on the inside of the wrist, the scarred tattoo on the neck. As a member of the branding of a thin blood is. As a member of the tower, Melinda has had to watch the process of that tattoo being placed several hundred times. In Prague, the thin blood were used as messenger, courier, coachman, servant, Juden, footstools. In El Paso, while they were not antiquated, there was the idea of keeping them cataloged. Each tattoo was marked with a secondary number so that each of the 75 allowed recall hidden inside the tattoo several different wardings, several different utilizations of blood magic, of thaumaturgy that could, at a moment's notice, cause symptoms similar to cardiac arrest, cause the vitae in their blood to dry up and drift away. And unfortunately, for those deemed valuable, the entirety of their vitae can be drained distance. And she recognizes that tattoo. She knows what it is. It is a thin blood who had been at service to the tower, been allowed to live a life of slavery, to be enslaved both mind, body, and soul, other complete and total immolation, complete and total ending of their existence.
Linda feels sick. And I think that probably shows this woman for a second. Can I help you?
I'm hoping you can.
With what?
Oh my god. I'm sorry. I thought you looked so I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Let me buy you a drink.
I'm sorry. I'm here looking for some later.
I don't think that there's gonna be a later for any of
Say again?
I don't think that there's going to be a later for this. Now's all the time that we have. And I'm sorry for lying. You don't look. You are familiar, but I've never met you in person.
I'm sorry. I'm really here. I've been looking for
me
for a very long time.
No, you've been looking for me, and I'm sorry.
No.
I had a vision 3 weeks ago. You were in it. Several other of your associates. And I know that you might be a friend to us. I'm sorry. It took everything that I could find to sway you. I'm sorry. I need help, and you're a finder. You're the finder. I know that it was wrong, but I can't do this by myself, and I need help. I'm sorry. It cost me more than you will ever know to get your attention. And if you help me, I promise we'll get what you want most in the world. But tonight's the night. There's going to be a sacrifice. There's going to be in of what we have here, peace. I don't know how, but I know that the army of the Dustborn will be soon. I know that whatever breaks us starts with the ending of everything tonight. This peace here in Arlington Heights, this restructuring of the chantry, building of the pyramid. I know that death follows in your shadow. I know that you are the crux for what happens. I know that you and your friends will have to make a decision as to who dies. And I want to live. I want to help fix this.
What is going to happen?
She looks at her watch. There's a sacrifice that's already been started. Starts with the killing of the brickmaker. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I know that the brickmaker is dead. I know that the wild bear has been tamed and killed. I know that tonight the Baron will be assassinated. I know that the shadows will fall and it will start here. There will be a war between Chicago and Arlington Heights, and every Dustborn in this city, in this region, will pay the ultimate price.
So, do we need to get the Baron out? Safety?
I don't know. I know that you all need to make a decision. And
So, if we get the Baron out, if we stop her assassination, will that stop a war?
I don't know. I know that it's going to come down to what. I know it sounds crazy, but you gotta believe it.
Will you come with me to talk to the Baron?
Yes. I want to. Please tell. Will not let me die.
Can I make an insight check? Wait.
In regards to what? What are you asking? What are you attempting?
I just want to see. I'm gonna. I'm going to text Hestia. And tell her. Ask the Baron about the brickmaker and the what was it?
The wild bear.
And the wild bear.
So you take out your phone and you begin texting. Go on.
Yeah, I'm gonna text that to Hestia. And say, and then DB Redhead DB hat and then like 3 eyes. or like a 3 RD eye emoji. Because I don't want to like text like had a vision.
There's a lot to convey.
Yeah.
As you're attempting to compose text, there's a weight that magic has. Most humans pick it up in subtle whispers, a chill that falls over the air, a shadow that's not connected with anything, a trick out of the corner of the eye. It leaves its impression less than conscious mind, making one aware that the situation one is in not standard. There's a feeling, the hair stand up on the back of the neck, and that chill of the soul is over Melinda as she's holding text and looking over the dance crowd. She can't see quite over the top of them. She knows that as she pauses, as she tries to cycle through the word or the vein trying to convey to her, the hand of fate resting on her shoulder, guiding her towards, she's not what, but she knows that there's a moment in the minuteness that is lessened, that is destroyed by technology. There's an immenseness to that is, if the premonition, vision this woman has seen has any bearing, interposing technology would be akin to denying one's blessing. If the decision must be made by the person, all attempts at otherwise would stand at cross purposes to them. There's a magic that only comes from touch. There's a magic that person. There's a magic that comes from the breath. And the banality of the modern age closes the third eye, locks the chakra, and then she looks at the electric blue screen of her phone. She realizes that this is the moment. This is the time. There's magic here. There is the strength of the blood. There is something.
I don't want anything to happen to any of you. I will do what I can. What is your name?
My name's Electra.
Electra?
Electra David.
Electra. Like, okay. Like E-L-E-C, like just from my own hearing.
Yes.
Okay, Electra. Electra, what? Davis?
David, yes.
David. Electra. Meet me at the bar. I will be right back.
Okay. And she looks around and realizes where she is.
Sit at bar where I can see you from where my friend is, so I can keep eyes.
Of course. Okay.
This way, English is not my first language.
Tell me you speak Greek. That's my first language.
You speak German?
No, I'm sorry.
What languages do you speak?
Greek and English.
Well, we have plenty of time for me to learn Greek. Sit at the bar where I can keep ice. And
okay.
Melinda is going to put her phone away and just shout, Hestia.
So trying to keep trying to keep within view of the bar, move just deep enough into the press of bodies, bouncing and moving and gyrating and grinding, and otherwise seeming as if they are the raviest of raves from the early 90s that has ever raved. Melinda finds herself through sheer and simple motion, the press of the bodies, the weight of the emotions, the tension that sits in the air now that she realizes or has an idea that something momentous is happening this evening. She finds herself towards the further back portion, moved along by the body, along as if fate itself has come down and guided her path, has made the road for her to trod. She finds herself at the rear portion of the dancing crowd of insane, expressive, and involved people. In the course of such, it's hard for her to not notice the scent of blood. It's hard for her not to notice that in the crowd, in the gyrating, in the kissing, that there is the exchange of fluids that are not seminal. There are kindred here. Not just the thin blood. Kindred. Full-fledged dead. The epitome of the hunters of the night. And as that realization begins to dawn, Melinda sees that Hestia is enjoying the company of a giant. Her dress short enough to be considered a shirt. The smile on her face seeming genuine. Her pose and languor, the sort of that a queen or a king would have, looking out over their king. Everything in its place, everything in its time, the enjoyment of the crowd, a testament to their brilliance, a testament to their strength.
Melinda walks up to the two of them and bows to the woman because I believe, unless I'm much mistaken, Yep.
And as you bow, the record scratches. The crowd still dancing of their own accord. The having had their way. Lucio in the middle of tearing himself free of some Rubenesque woman at the end of the bar, and her yelling with lungs that have been dead for longer than the existence of this building. It shouldn't be heard, but somehow it is. Everyone be so kind as to roll their unspent willpower. Your target number is DC 4. There's no way that a singular voice should be heard over this crowd. There's no way that a singular voice could or should have the sonic weight to drive people from their presence. And while Lucio managed, even in the midst of his beast having its way with him, cover his ears, grit his teeth, and withstand the sheer assault, others are not so lucky. The young lady that you just met, Electra, who having taken a seat at the bar was well within path of sonic bombardment, is blown off of her stool. The bartender drops glasses as they go tumbling across the floor. The dancers realize that there is no way that is natural. And in the doing, this wave of force and this wave of sound rockets through the bar. There is something ungodly about it. There's something cacophonous that slaps the soul around as if it owes money. And as if that is the signal for the rise of the storm. Madness follows. And you watch his eyes turn skyward. Fangs are extended. People begin hunching and slobbering and slavering, most of which targeting area where Melinda, Hestia, the Baron are. The woman, as the last chord of her rockets across the bar, falls prone to the floor, exhausted, emptied out, drained. I'd like to thank you all for a great season finale. And we'll see each other next week for the epilogue of season 10. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
What a cliffhanger.
Yike.